Hear me if I step away from the microphone? Okay, good.
Can you move up closer?
If you wish. I'd like to tell you a story. I'll wait until this feels more homey. This feels very formal. I'd like to tell you a story. I'd like to tell you about when my daughter Gracie, who was 8 years old at the time, opened my eyes to a world I never knew existed. Now, my daughter Gracie was born with a lot of what in the United States we call special needs. In India, I believe it's called differently able. She has many emotional, psychological, cognitive, learning, social, behavioral challenges that make life basically very difficult for her. I was her full-time mother, and I was her staunchest advocate, and I was determined to find answers for her. Now me, I had grown up in Midwestern, suburban United States of America in a very strict Roman Catholic family. So naturally, when I first started searching for answers for my daughter, I gravitated towards Western doctrines. I went to Western doctors, explored Western therapists, went to Western, anything you can name. It wasn't enough. So eventually, out of desperation, I started just tiptoeing into some of the Eastern philosophies, which were totally new to me and which no one in my world even knew about. I became aware of this concept of energy. Energy, what's that? To me, it was the plug that came, the electricity came out of the wall. I heard about these things called chakras for the first time. I had no idea what that was. But I was desperate for answers for my daughter, so I left no stone unturned. A friend told me about a master of Chinese medicine who worked about 3 hours away from our home. And I thought, there's nothing to lose here, let's try this. So I drove my daughter down. Now, I should mention my daughter, because of her special needs, even though she was 8 years old at the time, she did not speak clearly. She was more like a 2-year-old. You know how a 2-year-old can be understood by their family, but not anybody else outside their family? It was like that. Whenever she spoke, I would translate for her to whoever she was talking to. So we go into this doctor's office, Master Chen. Turns out Master Chen had been a child of the Cultural Revolution in China and had emigrated to the United States afterwards. He spoke in a very, very strong accent. And I went in, I started giving him the spiel about my daughter's history, like I had with so many doctors before. And he said, "Shh, stop." And I was taken aback. And he looked at my daughter and he asked her a question. And I remember thinking, oh, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. She's not going to be able to understand him. He's not going to be able to understand her. This is not going to work. What happened next amazed me. Totally amazed me. The two of them started talking to each other like they were long-lost friends. And now, I believe, actually, they were spiritual friends. They talked, they had this delightful conversation between them, and frankly, I was the third party out because I was having trouble understanding both of them. They were talking in a way that transcended words, it transcended language. They were talking heart to heart in a way that I hope to be talking with you today. This, to me, was the first concrete example that I had ever seen of this concept called energy and chakras. And it motivated me to begin studying. And it led me to what I now can say in hindsight mom, you have to have a spiritual awakening, get going. No, she was just herself. She was just herself by her very essence and her very being. She sparked that change in me. I believe that's what all children do for all adults in their worlds. I believe that children are not in our worlds by accident. If you are a parent, the children that you have are not your children by accident. If you are a teacher, the ones who come into your classroom are not there by accident. I believe that this is all an incredibly complicated, magical, marvelous orchestration by a divine power or the universe, or choose whatever terms you most resonate with, whatever your belief system is. Children teach us, the adults in the world, to become more of who we really are. And they can do that in so many different ways. So let's explore some of these ways. Thank you. Trust. Think about how children trust their parents. Now, I'm talking about families where the parents are loving and responsible and can provide for their children's needs. I know that unfortunately not every family is like that, but a lot are. So in families that are like that, young children, they just trust their parents. They don't worry about where they're going to get their next meal from, or what they're going to wear, or any of the other details of their daily lives. They just go along with their parents, and they have unconditional trust and faith that their parents will have figured it out. Or if the parents haven't figured it out, they will be able to figure it out. That is such a lesson for all of us, because what do we as adults need to do in our lives? If we have any kind of faith-based system, we need to do the same thing and trust in a higher power or the universe. That is just, to me, one of the most beautiful ways that children can be our teachers. Another one, childlike delight and awe. Everyone who's been around young children knows the delight that children get in the simplest little things that we adults in our busyness and our seriousness totally overlook. Things like ants marching in a line on the dirt, on the ground, or a puddle on the ground that we as adults like to step over so as not to get wet. They'll jump in it and laugh with delight. Children make us, the adults in the world, remember what an amazing, wonderful world we live in. And for when we can connect with that, when we watch a child just delight in being, for a moment, we can remember that and be the same way. Another way that children teach us is patience. Oh my gosh. As any parent or teacher knows, it requires a lot of patience to do what you do, to do what we do. I have a friend who claims that she is the world's most impatient woman. She has 5 children. And at one time she was having some problems with her children. Things were busy. A couple of them were having some issues. And she was feeling very badly about being a mother. She was feeling very down, thinking that she was really not doing a good job. She was losing her patience a lot. Sometimes she would even yell at her children at the top of her voice. She didn't want to be like that. And she was concerned that she was really blowing it as a mother. She wasn't doing a good job. So she went to see a priest for counseling. And she said to the priest, "Father, I don't know why God gave me 5 children. I don't have enough patience for it." The priest replied, "God gave you 5 children because you need to learn the gift of patience." That's what children do for us. Whatever we most need to know or learn or be in our lives, they will bring that out, and they will require us more of what we need in order that we, as people and as souls, can learn and grow and progress on our path. There are so many other qualities that children can teach us. These are just a few of them. There's also courage, strength, compassion, humility, perseverance. We could go on all day. We don't have enough time. What I would like to do, before that, like I said already, children teach us to become more of who we really are, the best people that we can be. What I would like to do now is a little exercise. If you don't mind, I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, kind of center yourself, and think about a key child who is in your life right now. If you don't have a key child in your life right now, then think about what childlike qualities would you most like to experience more of in your life? If there is a key child in your life right now, or perhaps more than one, ask yourself, at this point in time in your life and in that child's life, what are you most learning? What is the gift for you of learning and growth that that child is providing for you? And then I ask you, when you leave this room, when you leave this conference, when you are back together with that child, keep that in mind and ask yourself that question with that child and all children you come in contact with from time to time. What am I learning? What is the gift for me? Even if the gift is couched in some kind of great problem or challenge or something that you were not exactly asked for, there's always a gift in everything. Thank you very much. I have business cards here if anyone would be interested. I am offering pro bono coaching for 3 months for this year over the phone, so I can coach with anyone in any country in the world. And I also have some information about a book that's coming out. I did not write it, but a friend did, and I respect her highly. Positive parenting for the parent well in this media age. It's something that's new to all of us. Most of us are not raised with screens, phones, computers, etc. How do we manage it? How do we parent well with it? And then also information about parent coaching. So, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Janet. I think what she spoke made us realize that there is so much that we can learn from children, and it's not us always teaching the children. So I'll start with a question. How many of you loved playing when you were children? All of us? So before we go into the topic of reverse mentoring, I'll quickly tell what I do, why I, as a 27-year-old who just graduated 2 years back, who know nothing about children, is here standing, talking about it. So, what we basically believe in, I think we have a first slide. So what we basically do or believe in is that play is very essential for children, and we all understand that. And if we see in recent times, play has been disappearing. With virtual reality games, Netflix, and we see that children are busy on their phones. When we were young, our parents used to say that stop playing, come back home. These days, parents say that stop playing on your phone, go outside, meet people, meet your friends. And that is not a very positive direction that we're moving to. So we realized this problem when we were studying architecture in our college, and we visited a school for underprivileged children to distribute sweets for our birthday. And we saw that children were playing with sticks, stones. They were using broken slippers to play badminton. And we felt that these children deserved much more than this. I mean, play is not a luxury. It is a necessity for every child. It is not, education is not just what the child learns inside the classroom, but there are a lot of social and emotional skills that the child learns outside the class as well. So that's when we felt, these children should have a proper playground. But then why do playgrounds don't exist? One problem is they're expensive, second is difficult to maintain. So that is where the idea of using recycled material to build playgrounds for children came, and that's what we do. So not just building playgrounds, the entire process of how we work, we learn a lot from children, right from the design. So if you look at playgrounds, one thing that hasn't changed in playgrounds is the slides, swings, and the seesaw. This is very structured form of play. Have you ever asked a child what play means to him? So we went to the schools, communities, asked children so children love drawing. So we played games with them, asked them to draw the wildest playground that they could imagine. And they came up with like really amazing things. So we saw that the children from villages drew things like elephants, horses, and the children from cities were more interested in things like rocket, car. And so then it was a challenge for us. And can we go to the next? So I didn't prepare a presentation, I just wanted to show you pictures. Next slide. Right. So this is an octopus that you see, and can we go to the next slide? And that's an elephant. So when the children saw that I drew elephant, and that's actually saw that it came to life. That's something they felt that they designed and they owned it. So that is one thing. Even the design process comes from children, and it has to be contextual. So that's one. And even before the tires arrive the site, and you see children, they start making something out of it. So when you give them that freedom where they can do things on their own, I think it helps them improve their creativity. And when we build this playground, so every single time we complete a playground, the sports teacher or somebody comes to us and, okay, it's fine, you build a playground. So how do children play on it? Because these are like abstract designs, not very structured swings and slides. And we're like, if you have to teach a child how to play, we're not doing it right. So we just have to create these environments where children can learn and play on their own. And we will tell them one way to play on this particular element or a structure that we design, but they will come up with 100 different games. So I visited a playground that we had built 3 years back, and the chairperson came to me and she was like, so my children invented a new game today. So even after 3 years, children in the same environment are creating new games. So I think that is the beauty of free play. So one of the examples, so we were doing this similar activity with the children, and that school did not have any outdoor area. It was a very, 4-story building in a metro city, and we asked children, so what do you want in your playground? And children started saying chess, Ludo, because that is what we had always played. And then the teacher was like, no, tell outdoor play. We always tell children, no, not this, that. And we are like, we should stop restricting them. If they're saying they want a chess, we can create a life-size chess for them where they can go out and play. So, I mean, we should let children be what they are. And I think that is what we should, if I need to summarize it into key points, I think we need to learn from children the imagination that we have. As we grow, we become restricted by our environments. And second is the freedom. So there was a video that I watched recently where children were asked to cross a bridge that was made of wood log, and the parents were asked to cross the bridge. Only 20% of the parents could cross the bridge, and 85% children crossed the bridge. And when you saw the video, every single child fell, but they went back and crossed the bridge. So we as adults make these rules in our mind because there are no rules. So these are things that we can learn from children, and I think every single person should have the child in them even when we grow adults. So we can have an interactive session. If you have any questions, we can all talk. And since there are not a lot of speakers, I think we can maybe go around the room. Each one of us can share one thing that we feel we have learned from children. I think that'll be more fruitful to this conversation. Thank you. If we don't have a third speaker, can we go around the room and if you guys don't mind, Janet, if you go start.
Well, I have a question for you. What are your recycled playgrounds made out of?
We use locally available waste tires, oil drums, steel drums. We use plastic bottles and build them into playgrounds.
That is wonderful. Very important work.
So that's exactly. And I have a delicious little 2 3/4-year old. She came to us very late in life. And I have to say that never have I been more creative on the booth than I am with her. I mean, children just will make something out of nothing, will expect answers, they have no boundaries, no parameters. So she always says, "Mummy, I'm Superman." And then, of course, she refuses to call me Yummy Mummy, that accolade went to someone else. But I've now installed in her Mummy's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, children bring out the child in us. Okay?
I love it. We should test the boundaries.
Sure.
I have really experienced another level of patience. And I thought my husband was the child for a long time. But now we have this little girl. But it's a joy, an absolute joy.
I just want to add that now we also have corporate supporting sports amongst the underprivileged children, and I think that's a great move through the CSR, the corporate social responsibility. They are supporting students for football. I run a social enterprise and I have 6 students who are being supported by Celebrity Golf, who are into their 2nd year of coaching. So there are immense possibilities. It's just that to be more visible, I think. Doing some great work. Congratulations.
I'm happy to share. My name is Tracy, and I also have 2 children, 20, 17, and 5. So I used to be rather late in life. A little angel from heaven who slipped out of God's pocket. And she's an absolute delight. And recently, our nanny came to live with us. She was 6 years old. And I've never ever seen 2 kindred spirits. They can't wait to get home from school. And they play until they fall down. There's no electronic devices. We recently put up the new house and then we put up the trampoline. They play on the trampoline for 3 solid hours. Till the time that and then with the laughter and the giggling, and it kind of made me long for my own childhood, because that was my childhood, and I kind of wish I could sit on the trampoline and just have sheer unadulterated fun, and it's just such a delight.
आया में ओके नहीं कर
I am passionate about children. My name is Nairobi, Kenya, and I have a program for kids. I'm in the technology space, so I'm very passionate about what kids do online. And as a parent, most of the people that I meet today just don't want their kids to be on their gadgets, but they are the ones who buy those gadgets to babysit them. And so you asked one of the things that we learn from children. I have learned that these people have so much capacity to learn so many things. We just need to direct them properly and help them utilize technology in a more meaningful way so
so that even we don't feel, the fact that they are only just playing games and indulging in things that don't help them. At the same time, I've realized that as adults, we need to also look at our own technology habits and see how they will help kids. So I wish I can get your presentation so that I can, go through it a little more. Yeah.
Yes, the topic of technology for parents and educators is a huge, huge topic with lots of different diverse ideas. From my studies, I keep coming across over and over and over and over again that too much technology used by children, especially very young children, is detrimental to child development. Now, that's not to say there's no place at all for technology, because certainly there is, but it's something that parents need to be aware of, as what you're saying, and be wise about how and when to use technology with children. And that's something that, again, I didn't grow up with that. I imagine some of you in the room also did not grow up with technology. So this is like a whole new wilderness for parents. We don't know the right way to manage technology with our children because we're doing it for the very first time. So it's something that's there's not a one-size-fits-all answer. It is something that I encourage every parent, every educator to ask themselves, what are the limits, and definitely set limits, and what's the appropriate use versus what is overuse on the part of the children and the parents, really.
My name is Pooja. Just like you, I'm joined a little later, but really happy to catch the end of the conversation. I have two boys, a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I think the key lesson I've learned from my boys is authenticity. Right?
Yes.
And it's interesting in the previous session where I was speaking, talking about harnessing the power of emotions, and I realized that I really learn a lot.
हर किसी का hand to hand
But I learned the most from my children, just interacting with them. And I really like the point you made before about the idea that we are the ones who set the rules, right? And we need to stop setting some of these rules. I mean, okay, yes, there are rules that are there for safety too, but some of these rules are they're in our head. They're not necessary. And so for me, I think the key thing I've learned from my kids is to be authentic, to be really who you are, and say really what you think. I think that's definitely a lesson because my boys, that's what they do. They just say, they don't really filter. And I think filtering is something we learn. And sometimes it's necessary, but I think I've really learned authenticity. Really.
I think echoing what you're saying, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and same thing. I think it's just how free-spirited they are, right? Unapologetic for who you are, right? Dancing like nobody's watching, saying stuff without the fear of being misunderstood, right? It's just such rawness in just how free-spirited we are.
And you just said something about dancing like no one's listening. My son literally does that. The 5-year-old is going through a phase where he hears music in his head and you just find it. So often, my husband and I just catch his attention and I'm like, because if he notices that you're watching him, then he tends to stop. Sure. I just quickly tell my husband, I don't even know where he finds all these movies from. But I realize that, we would tend to want to, oh no, don't do this, yeah. And I'm like that. I'm very much, so I'm there helping me to relax a little. It's good to dance.
Exactly, contrast to what you said that we are the ones who set rules. Rather, I think we have created this thing in our head that as parents we are not supposed to do this. If we fall, so let's not try again. But that spirit that the children have is keep trying, even if you fall, get up, try again, and you will succeed. So we rather set those limitations for ourselves that we can't fall. need it, I need it. But we as adults know we don't need it. So in case it cannot be, there's no harm in trying. If I need it, being self-aware of ourselves. And being a kid at times, it's okay to fall, it's okay to ask for something, it's okay to deny. Playing, of course, is very, very important. Coming back to this point, children need to be guided at many points. I was talking to my colleagues in the morning while we were traveling. I'm from Chandigarh, so we came from Chandigarh today. So we said that from 0 to 5 years is the time when children learn the most. You can teach them practically 6 languages during that time span. But after some time, we take so long to learn anything. So maybe driving. When we are adults, we suddenly give up. It's too late for me. And we as women also start thinking, painting, I like it but never got a chance. Maybe I can try. Swimming, didn't learn, children learn it so quickly. You expose them to a particular play or a game or a sport, they can immediately get it. So 0 to 5 years, the gross motor skills, the time muscles need to be developed. So play is definitely important. And this is something that we also learn from children. Just play. Whenever you feel like it, it's a good stress buster also for all of us. Being with children, as most of you said, it's a great feeling. You feel like lively again with these children.
I have 3 children and they are aged 21, 17 and 15. And I think from each one of them, I have one gem that I pick and that goes through the long way. From my eldest, I learned the art of concealing my patience. It was tough because with the eldest, when he came and when the other 2 came, it was difficult to balance everything. So I had to start building on my patience. So I take my tutor to say that was the time I started building my patience. From my daughter, I learned the science of being silent. She was always watching. Mom was so busy doing so many things. And the third one, I learned how to enjoy life. And with the 3 of them, I feel that I have 3 different lessons that I have learned, and they stay with me, these 3 lessons. Children, I completely agree with you. They teach you for what you are, and they come to you to teach you what is missing in your life.
Yes.
I completely agree with you.
Yes. Well said, everybody.
That reminds me of we often talk in Iceland about the learning generation. Because and I'm from that generation. And you know the sport curling with the stone, and the children are the stone, and I'm using the brush to make the path easier and open every chance they have. And they have so many chances. It's also when you say too much, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. In everything, they and I think it makes them sometimes confused if you do it too much. Because and you are using this brush and making the path, and they get
Anxiety.
So that is what I have been watching and looking into myself is to try to say less, because the children are playing and someone falls, you run and pick them up or something, or they are arguing and you solve the problem. You shouldn't solve the problem. You take it away from them. A lot of things we do like that. We say something like, would you like to go to school and study this or this or this? But if you don't say anything, they find it themselves. I think we often, by saying too much, instead of just waiting until they ask, I think that is something at least I'm looking at now.
Yes, yes. In the United States, there's this term called helicopter parenting. I don't know if that's other places in the world. It is, okay. Yes, that's what you're talking about.
What is this?
Oh, helicopter parenting is just hovering over the children in all areas. And the slightest little sign of trouble, swooping in and solving it for them. And it causes problems for when the children become young adults. Usually when they leave home, they go to college. A lot of children are just ill-equipped to deal with their young adult life because they've never had to problem solve. You know, mom or dad has always been there to fix it for them.
I wanted to add something like you just said. So probably what I have learned is in a playground, if two children are playing and they indulge in a fight, so as a parent you are very protective and you get in and try to solve it, and then eventually there is a fight between the parents. Later, you get to know the children are friendly. They're fine, they're laughing, making, playing, and the mothers are making faces. So we learn that it's okay to fight, it's okay to disagree at times,
Right.
and then be normal. Back to normal, laugh and enjoy. So children
Yes,
teach you
they
this.
teach the art of conflict. And, they teach so many things. I wanted to add to your point about children from learning the most from 0 to 5. That is true, but I also wanted to say, and you also commented about women in general too, and sometimes thinking that it might be too late. Neuroscientists used to think that our brains were locked in by a certain age, and they were rather young age. I can't recall the exact age, so I won't try to quote anything. But they used to think that after a certain point, our personalities were set, our learning was set, and we were essentially done growing. They now know that is not true, and we can learn and we can grow throughout the entire lifespan. So it's not just children, it goes for us too, as adults. We can keep learning and growing, and it might not happen as quickly as it did when we were younger, but it can still absolutely happen.
Great. I think we came up with few points, but going away with so many things that we can, that others have learned from.
Yes, thank you all for your input. Yes, we presented just a tiny little bit. It was the iceberg, and then everyone else added to it immensely, so thank you.
Yes.